within this exhibit are professional reenactments by actors. This exhibit is in no way linked to or authorized by Bruce Wayne or any member of the Wayne estate.
Let's do this as Harley Quinn. Let's do this as a character that actually has something to do with Batman. Bez, Bez, excited? You excited to pop the platinum for this fucking awful game? Okay, so I looked this up. As soon as I press it, it'll pop the trophy and it'll pop the platinum. I think I wish it would pop after it was over, but we're gonna go through. We're gonna go through the Batman experience, obviously.
We begin at the Arkham Asylum for the criminally insane. Batman had apprehended Joker like so many times before, but this night...
Well, that's it. That's it. That's all there is to say. Well, no, that's not true. That's not all there is to say. Okay, so Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Is it the worst game ever made? No. Is it a good game? I give it a 3 out of 10. The campaign is fine. Okay, well let me start over. This game, the moment-to-moment gameplay is fine. At first, the first 10 to 15 hours, it's fine. It's no big deal. Um, it's definitely different than a lot of games I played. There is an ebb and flow to combat. It actually reminded me a bit of a third-person Doom, because you are encouraged to keep being aggressive to get your health back. So in Doom 2016, the more enemies you killed, let's watch the credits. In Doom 2016, if you killed the enemies, let's just turn this down. In Doom 2016, if you did a glory kill, where you like shot an enemy until they start to glow and then rip them apart, you would get health back. So you were encouraged to be as aggressive as possible to keep killing enemies and keep getting your health back. Something similar is done here in Suicide Squad, where if you shoot enemies in a certain way, you can shield harvest them and get, shield back. So the only way to heal yourself is to keep being aggressive. And I thought that was interesting. I thought that was a good idea. And it makes combat a lot more aggressive. It's not cover based. It's very frantic. It's very focused on movement, and it's very fast paced, and I like that. But the thing is, the game doesn't really evolve in any meaningful sense past those first couple hours. There really isn't anything to hold your attention past like the story. Like the only thing that really happens is the numbers go up. The weapons get stronger, enemies have more health, enemies do more damage to you. You do more damage to them. You get you're at one point, the numbers get so ridiculous that you're dying in just a handful of hits, or you're getting back your entire health bar plus your entire shield every time you shield harvest an enemy. Like it gets so ridiculous. It's basically a one-hit kill for everybody, you and the enemies. The story fucking sucks. I mean, the stories for the Arkham games weren't amazing, but they were at least told well, and they at least had, respect for the source material. This game has no fucking respect whatsoever for the source material. Like, you could make a game about the Suicide Squad, but why the fuck did you have to kill the Justice League? Like, you could have done anything else. Like, fucking anything. You could have, like, Brainiac show up, and the Justice League is just fucking gone, and the Suicide Squad has to save the world from Brainiac. Like, anything. Like, you could have done anything. But you really had to dance that close to the fire to destroy all the goodwill the Arkham games had. Like, I don't think anyone involved with this thought it was going to go well. Like, for most people probably don't care. For most... Oh, okay. Back up. For most people, if you take the Arkham Batman, put him on a park bench, and shoot him in the head, they're probably not going to like that. You can make all the arguments in the world as to why it's okay or why it doesn't matter. But if you put a fan of the Arkham games, like if you put that scene in front of him, any random fan of the Arkham games, they're not going to like it. Like, the game is mediocre. It's a live service game, so there's all this, bullshit, tons of menus, tons of currencies, tons of repetitive shit, tons of slop. tons of vendor trash. There's about 6 million currencies that you don't really care about, and I don't think the game even names them. They just give them symbols. Like, if you can get through that, the first 10 to 15 hours, it's fun gameplay. But if you play it any longer than that, and you try to play it, you're going to get very, very bored very, very fast. It's very grindy. The trophies are constructed in such a way that you have to grind out the end game in the base game. You can't go on to the other episodes. You can't do like the Joker episode. You can't do the Mr. Freeze episode. You can't do the Lawless episode. You can't do any of the other episodes because you have to level up in basically 1.0. You have to level up in that to get the gear you need to get all the trophies for equipping like that specific piece of gear. So it's like 10 to 15 hours just grinding out the same 3 missions over and over and over and over and over again. And there's like no variety. They're the same missions in the same locations with the same kinds of enemies. And the only thing that changes is they just get a bigger health bar, or they do more damage, or occasionally there's more numerous enemies there. Like, the end game is just awful. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like, if they could mix it up a bit, maybe have some procedural generation, or like do anything just to fight the monotony of those last 3 missions you're just running over and over and over again. I don't know. You could probably do something interesting with this. But as it is, the core gameplay just doesn't evolve enough. It doesn't evolve enough. Like, you take a game like Deep Rock Galactic. Deep Rock Galactic's made by like 20 people, right? The overclocks in that game can completely change the way you approach combat. Like, the overclocks, the combination of weapons you have, the different perks the weapons have, the different dwarves. Like, there's like an infinite amount of ways to approach combat in Deep Rock Galactic. And the levels are all procedurally generated, so they're never the same, and they have different enemies, different biomes. Like, you're never going to play the same mission twice in Deep Rock Galactic. You won't. Like, if you care at all, like, even if you're not trying to, you will end up playing different biomes, you'll end up playing different mission types, you'll end up playing different secondary objective modifiers. Like, the Ghost Ship games, guys, they go out of the way to make that game as different as possible. Like, that's a good example of a live service game. Like, you want to keep playing just to see what the next mission's going to look like, or what the next enemies are going to be like, or what the next, combination of actors is going to come together to create an amazing, unique mission you're never going to see again. But with Suicide Squad, like, I sit down, I turn it on, I already know what's going to happen. It's like not surprising at all, and all the guns feel basically the same. And it's really hard to customize. You're so dependent on random drops. You can't like customize anything yourself. In Deep Rock Galactic, the more you play, the more currency you get. Like, the currency is how you modify your weapons and kind of create new gameplay opportunities. Suicide Squad is not a good game. It really isn't. It's good for like 10 to 15 hours. Like, if you play it and you just beat the campaign, that's fine. But if you're trying to get the platinum, you're gonna hate the game. I cannot fathom playing the other episodes. Like, I cannot fathom subjecting myself to the other episodes in this game. No way. Absolutely not. I didn't pay a dime for this game, and I still feel like I paid too much. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I was a part of gaming history. I feel like this game will be a turning point in live service games down the line. So much money was put behind this. It had a good developer. It had a basically no lose IP. Like, you have the Batman IP. It had years and years in the oven, and it sucked. It failed. Like, I don't think it ever got above like 3,000 concurrent players. I'm pretty sure for most of its life it was just the player counts were in the triple digits. So there's roughly 5,000 people that have gotten this platinum trophy. That's like nothing. That's like nothing. Especially when it was a free PS Plus game. That's the only reason I'm getting the platinum, because it was a free game. Every time you feel like you want to play this game, just open up your phone, download Duolingo, and learn how to speak German or something. Like, this is the kind of game you play and you're like, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my time? I could be doing anything else. I could be playing fucking World of Warcraft.